It is important, in my view, that we stay here, restore order, but that we complete our business under the Constitution. It's important that we not allow this to further disrupt, beyond the need to restore calm, the certification of the election of the next president of the United States. And obviously is Joe Biden. And what we're witnessing is the result of, political arsonists, and the president urging people to engage in what amounts to political insurrection. And this is the consequence of ignoring and disrespecting the Constitution and the rule of law. And it's a sad, sad day.
We know that your colleague, Senator Cruz, was the one in the Senate who filed the objection. You've served in the Congress, you've served in the House and Senate. You've been through a few of these certification votes in years past. Normally, this is very routine. This is very uneventful. I don't recall anything even approaching a minuscule fraction of the scale happening in years past when you voted to certify the electors of previous presidents.
You're absolutely right. I mean, under Article 2 of the Constitution, this is supposed to be a ceremonial function. In fact, it's been so ceremonial that I've not attended one of these in the past in the House. They're always pro forma. There have been a couple cases where, people have questioned results, but never with the intent of overturning, the election from all these states and overturning the election of a democratically elected president. Never seen anything like this. Never thought I ever would. Of course, I never thought I'd live to see the day when former secretaries of defense, including Secretaries Cheney, Rumsfeld, and Mattis, wrote an op-ed piece warning about not using a military as part of a refusal to have peaceful transfer of power. This is really an awful time for our country. I hope we can learn from it. Joe Biden is working very hard. We just heard from him today to try to bring people together. And we cannot allow the outgoing president to further poison the well for all of us in this country, regardless of party.
The certification process stopped basically on the third state, Arizona, about an hour into debate. We know Arizona, Georgia, and Pennsylvania definitely slated for objection. On your understanding, any other confirmed objections to any other states that potentially are on the docket as well?
Well, there could be as many as 6. In addition to the ones you mentioned, we don't know if there are going to be objections lodged to Wisconsin and Michigan and others. I hope that those who are pushing this whole false narrative and challenging the election, I hope that they are looking at this moment and reassessing whether they want to continue to challenge the other electoral votes today. Yeah. Because all they've been doing is feeding this false narrative. They've led millions of Americans to believe that the election was fraudulent. We know that's not true. We know every time people have to make their case in a court of law under penalty of perjury, they don't have any evidence. And yet they continue to spread these lies that undermine public confidence in our elections. I hope that as we all watch this chaos and this mob storming of the Capitol, that they will reassess whether they want to continue this very dangerous charade.
What was your thought today when Senator Cruz, when he was lodging his objection, had said, he called for an electoral commission and said if the Democrats, and I'm paraphrasing here, but he said if the Democrats know that there's no fraud and there's no evidence that incites fraud, they should welcome the idea of holding a 10-day emergency tribunal to determine the legitimacy of this election?
This is such a specious argument that he's made, and he knows it. And the best response came from his own Republican colleague, Senator Pat Toomey, from Pennsylvania, who went through the process of the legal challenges in Pennsylvania and just said that this was all a bunch of hogwash. And what's happened here is that people like Senator Cruz have fueled these false narratives, and all of a sudden they're saying, oh my God, we convinced millions of people that there was fraud. And now, based on allegations of fraud, no factual evidence, based on allegations, we should take a timeout. All that will do is further fuel this very dangerous lie. That's all that will happen, and he knows that. And this is a very, very sad case of him putting his personal political ambition over the good of the country. This is the beginning of the 2024 Republican presidential race. Some senators wanting to essentially, claim the Trump mantle. I hope they will see how dangerous that has become. We saw them replacing some American flags in the Senate and House chambers with Trump flags. We should all be Americans. This is about our democracy and our Constitution. This needs to stop.
We saw Senator Mitch McConnell, the Senate Majority Leader there, speaking earlier this afternoon. Have you spoken with your leader? Now the Fox News desk calling and projecting Ossoff beating Purdue in Georgia, so now effectively a 50-50 majority there for your party. What is Senator Schumer telling you and your colleagues at this hour? Have you had any communication, or are you all in separate quarters?
Well, we had communication previously this morning because there was an expectation that both the Senate Democratic candidates were going to win in Georgia. As you say, that will give the Democrats a razor-thin majority with the incoming Vice President Harris casting the tiebreaker vote. I think all of us feel that we have an obligation to come together as Americans for the good of the country. And what we're witnessing today, this chaos and this attack on the Capitol, underscores the need for people to come together. We can disagree strongly, but we shouldn't be engaging in this kind of conduct that we're seeing.
Senator Chris Van Hollen, thank you, sir.